Welcome to the Crypt of Wax. Today we are talking Hooded Menace, Lachrymose Monuments of Obscuration. That was a bit of a mouthful. Yes, Finnish Death Doom, Mike.
Yeah, God, that was a mouthful. Do you know what? I haven't even looked at the title of the album.
Yeah, it doesn't roll off the tongue, but
It doesn't. I don't even know what lachrymose means.
it's like a sadness, I think.
Oh, is it? That annoys me that you knew and I didn't for some reason.
The intelligent one over here.
I don't really know what obscuration means. I think I could guess it, but I'm not going to.
Well, the Finnish Deaf Doomers have better English than the native speakers.
Yeah.
This is the seventh full length, Mike. I had no idea they'd been around since 2007. I thought they were a relatively new band. That shows how much I know.
No, well, I've been into this band a little bit. So I did know that they done as much as they done and been around for that long, but they've sort of operated on. They are an underground band. You kind of wouldn't. They're one of those bands, aren't they? Especially when you listen to, say, this album. They're underground, but when you listen to it, it sounds like it's a lot bigger. Do you know what I mean?
This album, 100%. Because I do remember checking out the album prior, and it just didn't grab me.
Try
But
Thomas Bell.
yeah, that's the one. I think I was lured in by the artwork. I'd never heard of them, and I was like, "Oh, this looks really cool."
They do good artwork. They do very good artwork.
The artwork for this, the artwork for this is 10 out of 10. I love this artwork.
Yeah.
But yeah, immediately with this record, I was a lot more taken. It sounds like I was going to say leveled up, but they've been going for like 20 odd years, so maybe that's a bit not reductive, but I mean, I guess if you're more of a fan, have they kind of stepped up a gear for this record?
That I feel like they've changed their sounds evolved between the album before Triton and Spell and this one. There was an evolution um from that album before where they kind of went a lot more kind of melodic. There was bit more of an upbeat kind of feel to some of the beats and stuff. They were a bit more of a traditional Death Doom band sonically, where as there's been kind of a bit more of an influence of kind of more 80s kind of
That
metal sort of
mm,
influence in their last couple of albums, and especially this one.
especially this one, like this was apparent straight away as soon as you press play. Twilight Passages, it's like an introduction, like what is it, like 1-2 minute instrumental, but the 80s aesthetic was just sonically there, wasn't it? You had like the synths, you had
Yeah.
the kind of you had those kind of like the reverberated chorused heavy leads that were just kind of like soaring through it. It just screamed 80s. I was quite surprised, to be honest, because I kind of didn't expect that kind of sound for this for them.
Well, they had even like. Did you say like the clean guitars as well? That was all very like chorusy kind of.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, everything was soaked, wasn't it? It was all just soaked in effect, and it captured that sort of vibe, and obviously the drums as well just sounded. I mean,
huge.
incredibly produced, sounded massive. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I felt like for me, the production normally I wouldn't be a fan of it because it is very, very produced. But I I think with what they were going for, they really lent into it,
yeah.
and it worked because of that.
I was going to say, normally this type of sound in that Death Doom realm, that very produced, very like huge sounding, doesn't do it for me. But there was something about this record that I just couldn't stop listening to it. I don't know if they're going for quote unquote fun, but for me, this was like a fun record. It was like
Yeah,
there were like meaty, good riffs like everywhere in this record. I think the guitar playing is what elevates this band. I think the riffs were like beefy and catchy enough to be like that kind of chunkier death metal death doom sound, but then they did have brought in that 80s heavy metal and like almost a bit of hair metal in places as well. Um,
Some of the solos.
yeah, and there was almost like a goth feel as well to a lot of it.
Yeah, they did a very good job at capturing a vibe, and
Yeah,
when you look at the package of the artwork as well, it all works. They've you know, and I'm this. I've felt like this a little bit about Hooded Menace in general. Like their older stuff, I like. It's got more. It is that more traditional Death Doom, but the newer stuff, I struggle again. I sort of struggled with at first because it there is that difference in sound, and I feel like 9 times out of 10, if I heard a band doing this sort of style, I probably wouldn't like it that much, but there's something about the way Hooded Menace do it
yeah.
and the way it's and the way it all works with the artwork and all the vibe that they capture that it works really well. There's just something about this band that they capture something that's very cool.
For those new here, like we don't. What we do is when we pick an album, we don't talk about it off air. We just sort of say, right, we're going to do this album, and then so we could discuss it on the show. So I actually have no idea what like how Mike feels about this, and knowing Mike's taste, I know that this is not necessarily your cup of tea, but I guess overall, Mike, did you like this record?
I did. I had a good time with it, man. And as I said, I like Hooded Menace anyway.
Mm,
And I did enjoy this. It's very produced, and
yeah,
it is too produced for my tastes, actually. But
it
something in
works.
the way it's executed, it works. There's, I mean, should we get into some of the songs? I don't think we've mentioned any of the songs yet.
Yeah, only the Twilight Passage is the intro, but yeah, it's sort
Yeah,
of when it goes into track two, Power Masquerade. For me, like that is the best song on the record. Maybe the last song potentially, but I think Power Masquerade had everything. It had like huge riffs. There was like injection of synths in there, which sort of like elevated the kind of
mm,
sound sonically, but they didn't overplay it. It was like very measured. They there was quite a lot of I don't want to say cheesy, more melodic death metal slash metalcore elements, but like they existed, but not in like an abundance. So it kind of just added to that, like just brought in a cool influence. I thought it was just really well done, that song, and it just flowed effortlessly from like riff to passage to passage.
it was. I think it was easily the catchiest song on the album. Like
Yeah,
it's the one that when you see the title, you can then think you then remember it all. We remember all the riffs because there's the kind of the two main riffs. There's the what comes in is the intro that they bring back round, and then the bit I love, the verse riff, which I thought was a really good riff that they use in that one, where it's like sort of chugging, and
yeah,
you've got that nice little line that's going with the kind of phrasing of the chords on it, which they then harmonize at points as well.
yeah.
Um, which I really liked. I don't know if it was my favorite, but it was definitely one of the best songs on the album, and easily the catchiest, the standout one
It's
for being memorable.
It screamed single, didn't it? Well, I imagine that was
Yeah.
probably
Oh,
the
absolutely.
yeah, that's probably the
Yeah.
pre-release, right? I have no idea, but if I was to guess, it would be that one. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, do you want to go through track by track, or do you want to talk about your favorite song? Because I imagine you said Pale Masquerade wasn't it?
No, do you know what my probably my highlight was the last song, Into Haunted Oblivion.
Yeah,
Um, I thought that song was awesome. I thought it was really good. It was maybe a little bit less kind of 80s vibe than the rest of it. It felt a little bit more, almost a little bit more straight up Death Doom in that sense. In the overall feel of it, you didn't have as much of the 80s influence on there, but there was just some great sections and riffs in there. Um, there was a riff around 4 minutes, which coincided with the spoken word part that they
yeah.
were doing, which I really liked. And actually, I would have liked a little bit more of that
I was I was
on the
gonna
album.
say, yeah, I was gonna say vocally, it didn't push the boundaries, did it? It's all quite one take,
Mm,
but that was the only point where he did something different to the spoken word bit, and I thought, yeah,
yeah.
it did sort of elevate that bit, and I thought I would have liked a bit more variety there throughout. Yeah, I think that would have added a lot more.
Well, I was listening to some of their older stuff when doing this, and I thought the vocals were a bit different, but then I've just realised that he actually isn't wasn't the original vocalist.
Oh, really?
So they had two other vocalists before then. So they had one guy who did the very early stuff, and then another guy who did from 2012 to 2016. So he would have done a couple of albums as well.
Is there any original members still in, or have they sort of?
You've got the guitarist is original, and the drummer's been there pretty much since the beginning. But it looks like he might have been in and out a little bit as well, like the drummer. Yeah, they've had a lot of members, to be fair.
Quite a
They've had
revolving
live
door band.
members as well. They've had people fill in on,
Well,
just
yeah,
to play
because
live for them because they're
they're a
a
three
three
piece,
piece
right, for this,
essentially.
yeah. But this
Yeah,
sounds, I mean, it sounds way bigger than a three piece because obviously you've got like harmonized riffs and ripping solos. And you think if you was to play this live, you probably would want that additional guitarist to sort of push through
yeah,
that. Um,
yeah.
I think another standout of mine, Mike, was I'm going to struggle pronouncing this. Lugub,
Say it because it's my other one as well.
yeah, lugubrious dance. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I don't
that
know, but yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. That song, I feel like they were kind of pushing a lot of different influences throughout the album, but this one as well. Like there was a lot of like Southern Pantera style riffs in this song. There was even a moment. It was around 3 minutes 30. Like everything drops out, and you have this sort of dare I say like funk slash hair element. It reminded me of something like Extreme would do. It had that real
was that was it
80s
was it a
sound.
solo? Was it?
No, it all dropped out to like a kind of riff, then all sort of came back in. But it was really
Oh
like it
yeah,
was proper 80s.
yeah, I've got that down. I mean, I kind of thought it was, I think I noted it as like being a real old school heavy metal kind of
Mm,
section. Yeah, it was great. I love that. It was one of my favorite bits of the album. And there was a little solo that he did. It was very short, but it was proper. It was proper Eddie Van Halen. Like
yeah,
he was doing the tapping parts, but then he was doing that weird that thing that Van Halen does where he taps, but he makes the note go all weird, like
yeah,
sort of out of tune kind of thing. Like it was pure sort of worship, and it was great. It was a really cool little inclusion because it was short as well. Almost reminded me of his the solo he does of like Michael Jackson, where he does that really like short little solo. Is it in Beat It? You
was that
know?
Van Halen?
Yeah.
Ah,
Um,
every day's a school day. Mike, let's speaking about pop music. Let's talk about the cover.
yeah, man.
uh,
It's
Save a Prayer, Duran Duran.
first of all, how did they get permission to do like how much does it cost
I was
to
thinking
get
this.
this on your album? Like I get sometimes there's like a loophole where if a band can cover it, but they're not going to make any money out of it, that they're sort of allowed to do it without having to pay, something like that. But to get a song as big as this one by a band as big as Duran Duran on your album, like how much does that cost?
Is
I mean,
it
not that I expect you to have the answer, but
No, but is it different enough where it counts as where you don't have to necessarily straight up pay for royalty? Is that a case?
is it different enough? I mean, you can hear what song they're covering.
You can, but I guess you could argue, there's no sung vocal, the instrumentation is, the down tuned guitars. That you could argue maybe there's some.
I can't, nah, no. I mean, like the melody line of the song is being followed.
Yeah, yeah. I
and
don't
it's
know if there's any artistic management slash lawyer slash hooded menace who are watching. Let us know, please.
let us know in the comments. Yeah.
How much did that cost you? How much
Yeah,
that
how
set
much
you
does
back?
that cost? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what did you have to cough up for that? What did you have to pay Duran Duran to do that? I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, it's not like when sometimes you get people who cover bands and they're like quite a small band that they've covered and they probably got in touch and got permission. It's all right, but like a band like
Yeah.
that of that size,
Yeah, it's massive, isn't it? But I mean, all right. So, like legality aside, what did you think of it?
I'll be honest, I don't like metal covers of pop songs, but I feel a bit conflicted with this one because I feel I can see the sense of it. and it fits the vibe of the record because it's very 80s,
Yep.
and the way that they did the album with the instrumentation and what they were kind of doing with the guitars and stuff works perfectly to cover a Duran Duran song because it doesn't stick out as even though it sticks out as being a cover because you know it is, but it doesn't stick out sonically from the rest of the album. But I'm just not a fan of metal songs covering pop songs, if I'm honest.
I'm normally there with you, and on first listen, I was like, surely not. Like this is not the one for me. But
It does get better with
it
more listens, but
it
when you get used to it,
yeah
first listen it sounds awful because
yeah
they
yeah
pre-released this
yeah.
before the album. But before the album came out, they pre-released this song,
Oh,
and
did they?
I saw it and thought, oh my god, and I listened to it and thought, fucking hell, this is terrible. Like I couldn't
Yeah.
listen to it; it was awful. In the context of the album, though, it worked a lot better.
Yeah, I was going to say, like with more subsequent listens, it got a lot better, and then I found myself almost enjoying it. But then that is because the original song is so good as well, and
Yeah, I love the original. Yeah.
it does almost kind of make you just. It's such a good song anyway that the chorus is so infectious that it's bound to kind of pick up in that way. But I didn't mind it as it went on, but on first listen, I was not so sure, but.
Do you think? There's part of me that wonders. Do you think it would have been better as on the end as a bonus track? Or do you think it was a good idea to incorporate it into the actual because where it's placed feels like it's meant there's more intention there of its part of the album. Whereas you often associate covers with being, you know, back in the day of buying CDs, bonus songs or something like that, you know?
Mm, um, I don't think it would change my view or perspective on the album, to be perfectly honest. I because I don't even skip it when it comes on. I actually don't mind it, and I feel like if it was at the end or if it was bonus, I probably wouldn't listen to it.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like it's in its right place in its right place.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, yeah. Any more to say on this album, Michael? We'll wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. Let me have a look at my notes. Did I say anything else about it that was interesting? I don't think I did. Um, Yeah, just that the last song afterwards, obviously we've spoke about was probably my highlight. It was really really good.
Yeah, with a fade in. There were a couple of fade ins, weren't there, on this album? Which again,
They faded in a few times. Yeah,
again, it gave that 80s feel. Like you don't really. It's quite an old school production technique, isn't it?
it's funny because they faded in on the last song, but the ending of it was really sudden.
Mm. Yeah, you would expect it like a long, drawn out kind of faded thing,
Yeah,
but no. But yeah, I think this was fun, man. I thought that's the best way to describe it for me. It was just like a fun listen, but like good Def Doom, very 80s inspired, big production. Like it's just check this out because it's definitely something that you'll probably
well,
enjoy.
can I say I've been trying to get John to listen to Hooded Menace for a while, and you've never really been that interested.
Yeah,
So I'm curious now if you're gonna listen to more of them, or is it just
I'll
kind of like you'll probably just listen to this album and
I'll go back and give it more time because this has definitely opened up my
do the one before because that one if I remember rightly is in a similar vein to this one.
really okay. I'll give it more time.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely.
Great artwork as well, probably even better artwork as well on that one.
Do you think? I think this artwork's better personally, but I mean, yeah, great artworks. Great, just a cool band, man. I think they're definitely, definitely check this album out.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you like what we do, give a like and a subscribe because we put out videos every Wednesday and Friday covering the latest metal releases. But let us know in the comments what you thought of this one, and we will catch you in the next one.